Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new series here on TetraBitGaming. Welcome to Lost Bits, the series where I will be bringing you guys hidden, secret, and unused areas, characters, songs, and more from a huge variety of games. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up below so I'll know to keep making them. And with that said guys, let's begin with today's Lost Bit. This first Lost Bit video will be a big one, as I'll be exploring and hunting the numerous unused test areas found in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the Nintendo GameCube. And there are actually a lot of unused maps in the game, many of which also made it to the HD remake. But since many of the unused rooms aren't much more than areas identical to the ones found in the final release but with more primitive textures, I'll just be going over the rooms I thought were the most interesting or noteworthy. To access these levels yourself, you will need to use a cheating method with your GameCube like an action replay disc, or of course there are other methods out there as well. Anyways, first up we have Ebesso Villa, which is an isolated island with super basic textures and a textureless white house in the middle. It's kinda creepy actually. And if you try and walk up the steps to the house, the game counts it as if Link falls into lava and the map resets. It is believed that this island is a very early concept of what would eventually become Link's Oasis. Whoa, what? It's no surprise why this level is called Invisible Island. This weird and obviously unused room has a few bokoblins, a moblin, some trees, and grass. But yup, someone forgot to add something to actually walk on. Next up, we have what appears to be the basic layout of what might have been a cancelled dungeon in the game. The area is made up of 4 interconnected rooms, a T-shaped hallway, a big door that doesn't open, and some oink-oinks. The map is internally archived as H_test, and it is believed that the H might have stood for Hyrule, and that there might have been a cancelled section in the game that more heavily involved the game's Hyrule Castle. Also, you might have noticed that the textures of this area appear quite different than that of the other cel-shaded cartoony ones elsewhere in the game, so it is quite possible that this area was put together before the final art style of the Wind Waker was even decided on.
Here come that bullshit, what up? Here come that bullshit, what up? Here come that.
Yeah, this is probably the weirdest unused room in the game. The first thing you probably noticed is that the room's walls, floor, and ceiling, for whatever reason, all have the same rare Pepe looking texture as the canvas in the corner of the room. Apparently this was supposed to be an art studio on the top of Tingle Tower according to Tingle Brothers' Knuckles Nintendo Gallery statue. The room is simply named Tinkle, which is super close to Tingle, so this is fairly likely that they are related. There is also a table in the other corner that kills you when you touch it, which only adds to the weirdness of this room. Imagine if you had to be locked in this room with Tingle for several hours. Okay, with those smaller areas out of the way, it's time to move on to the fun stuff, the test rooms. In short, these rooms are made to test objects, movements, textures, animation, height, and so on, and there are quite a few of these test rooms in the game. The first few rooms have a bunch of objects, some interactable and some not. Like this switch that does nothing, or all these items you can't collect. There's also this weird wall that is invisible from one side, but much more prominent from the other, which kind of really threw me off at first. There are a few other similar object test maps which have many different things, such as walls, eye switches, frozen objects, lighting effects, wind physics, breakable pots, and much more. The next 2 maps I found feature many NPCs from the game. They each contain dialogue from a section in the game and can be interacted with. Look at this tiny Cyclos. Oh. Characters that only appear in cutscenes like Rich Mila and Poor Maggie for some reason never look at Link, and the only thing they can say is you can call Tingle only from areas that have maps. Which is either Tingle haunting this game or the first default message in the game's script. You guys decide. Now similar to these rooms, there was also a room which contains several enemies like Keys That Don't Move, Redeads, and Armos Knights. There really isn't much else to say about these rooms, so let's move on to the next one. There was then a smaller test map which tested block climbing and pushing, breakable wood planks, as well as rope swinging physics. One cool thing to note about this map is that some of the ropes aren't the lantern ones seen in the final game, but actually Link's grappling hook. In this next room, at first it appears like there's nothing but a white mist surrounding us, but once you walk through that, you can find much more. This area tested warp pots, torches, normal pots, a large skull door, and this snot-nosed dweeb for some reason. Just don't try jumping into the warp pots as it will crash your game. And last but certainly not least, the biggest and in my opinion best test map that I found. This map appears to be a more general playtesting area to test climbing, walking up different slopes, swimming, opening doors, and more. The first thing you'll see when you spawn into this map are 4 diamond switches that test a switch to light a torch if all 4 are hit. A notable part of this map is the swimming area where for the first time we have water that we can actually see through. There is also a test ramp underwater, and it was believed that this was to test walking underwater with iron boots, which was eventually scrapped from the final game. I tried entering the slope walking area, but much like in the previous map, opening the door caused my game to crash. And that's pretty much the last noteworthy unused area that I was able to find. I know there are many other unused areas in the game, but I wanted to keep this video from being too long. I had a ton of fun fooling around in these maps, and I thought it was so cool to access things in the game that the developers used when making it, and I hope you guys think they are cool as well. There are many unused areas in other games, so if you'd like to see me do more of these, again, please let me know by leaving a thumbs up on this video or with a comment below. If you guys want to see more of my content, please check out the rest of my channel or click one of the annotations in the following end card. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching and for all your support thus far, and I will see you in a bit.